is more about learning because, obviously starting from, you said zero experience, you had to learn a lot. There was a big gap between you and people that are the same year as you that has design experience. And so how did you learn so fast, or how did you find that determination and just grind so hard that you fill the gap between you and the person, your same year person who's doing design, and also in the end emerge on top of them as well?
So, it's definitely like both working really hard and working really fast. So I can't really speak too much about working hard. You just have to put in the work. There are any
Yeah.
shortcuts. But I can tell you how to learn smart. So the first thing you do, kind of what I touched on before, is you don't want to learn everything randomly. You want to learn
Yeah.
the things required for your niche, right? So I can't really give you like a specific book or resource because I only chose the resources that matched the niche that I was going for, which is like 0 to 100 consumer product growth. But if you follow all my resources, one, you might find it boring, and two, like you would be developing your niche in my direction, which might not be something that you're interested in or what you want or what the current market opportunities are. That being said, some general tips are don't feel like you need to consume a resource end to end. Like just pick out the important parts. So what I did, and this is echoing a resource that I recently read called How to Read a Book. There's like 4 different levels of reading. So for me, like first figure out what type of learner you are. For me, like I learn best from text. So some people learn best by doing, some people learn best by watching videos and stuff.
Yeah.
So figure out what type of learner you are. If you are a learner that's like good at like digesting written content, this is my specific technique. So with the 4 levels of reading, the first one's called elementary reading, which means you're just recognizing the words. This is what most people do, very, very slow, very, very useless. There's something called inspectional reading, which is you're skimming just like the headlines and like the main like titles and like the big words within a book. Like maybe you're just reading the summary or the index, and that's basically used to determine whether or not this resource is worth consuming, and if it is, which parts of it are relevant to you. And usually you want to spend less than 5 minutes per resource on this. And then the third way is called analytical reading. It means like when you do your inspectional reading and when you're reading it in a bit more detail, you want to highlight the words, the keywords, and that stand out to you, and also the really nice articulations of a concept and maybe quotes that resonate with you. And then you want to basically, when you read it like twice, first time read it really quickly, do the highlighting. Second time, read it slowly, but only focus on the areas you highlighted and the words
Yeah.
around it. And there's a Chrome plugin called like Simple Highlighter that I use. You can use it to highlight any page.
Okay.
Um, and if you do this method, you probably also want to like look up additional references and like look up like usually Wikipedia is good enough. If you don't know a word, just look it up or look up
Yeah.
the definition. So that's like inspectional reading, basically analyzing only the keywords. Like if you analyze the whole resource, it's gonna be too slow. So usually like every article or every book, I only like highlight like a few chapters and a few keywords in an article. That's analytical. And then some topical reading is basically applying the first 3 steps, but from multiple sources within a topic. So all in all, this is my process, and this is what I've been doing for the past couple of years to learn one new brand concept a day. So I start by picking a topic that I think is relevant to my niche and relevant to my work. I do a lot of inspectional reading based off the results I find on Google, and then I pick out 3 to 5 really high quality sources. I read it really quickly once, highlight the keywords, quotes, etc., and then I read it again, but only the highlighted parts. And then what I do is I try and write a 500-word summary of all the topics that I covered, but I have to use everything that I highlighted. But I can rearrange it in any order and articulate it any way I want. And I think just like writing in full sentences really helps your brain kind of digest it.
Yeah.
Because if you take notes, most people just end up copying exactly what it says.
Yeah.
And it's kind of useless, right? Because you're not processing. You need active processing to actually retain it. And then my standard pattern that I do now or habit is I read, I do synoptical reading and then I write Monday to Friday, and on the weekends I edit. So when you edit, you basically are forced to process it again and really understand it, and then it locks in that information. So I'm never like memorizing. I'm just like figuring out a way to like actively apply all the knowledge I learned. So that method might not work for you if you don't like reading, but I think it's like the fastest way to absorb information. So that's what I